What up? What up? What up? We back with another edition of the Woods
Mhm.
Finest Podcast. We got
Good
a very,
morning, my
very special
neighbors.
edition. For this edition, we are talking about being more conscious of the way we raise our daughters. We got three girl dads up here, and I got this idea from the very, very famous Nas track that he did with
Mm.
the great Lauryn Hill, "If I Ruled the World," and that's one of the lines in the song.
Mhm.
And being more conscious of the way we raise our daughters is definitely important in this day and time. But we're going to open with sharing a moment from early childhood that you share with your daughter that you look back on very, very happily. Something that she did, probably something that happened, a time in your life when they were younger, and something good happened. Kev, you got a great moment that stands out with you and the lovely Princess Leia.
I just, for her childhood that I reflect happily on, it's more of just not any specific moment, but
Uh
just
huh.
kind of her actions. Like she's someone who's always willing to help others, right?
Okay.
And other people, even if they're not like her everyday friends, you know, they kind of hold her in high esteem because she may be looking out to help other people, like maybe somebody's getting picked on and she stands up for them, right? Or things like that. But I know she would say back when she was in like elementary school, um, in middle school, I guess some of the kids younger than her, they would like come up to her kind of like as a big sister type thing. Same thing in our neighborhood. There's
Yeah.
some smaller kids that they'll kind of look at her as a bigger sister and
Yeah.
everything and be like, oh, can we go see Leia? Can Leia come over here and stuff? Um, so those are some of the things that really stand out more to me that I'm proud of for her.
So, where does she get the toughness from? You think where does that come from?
I mean, toughness. I mean,
I mean, it's both toughness and it's being mindful and caring and thoughtful, and so it's a bunch of different things. But I'm just where does she get that toughness to be like stop people from bullying the other
Bullying
kids
people.
and
Mm.
I don't know. She might just see her mom hit me on a regular basis or
Oh,
something like
as
that's
that.
what,
she
that's what,
hey
the
Kev,
Put
abuse.
me in the headlock.
as she should, yeah. So roll, hey look, hey, and rolling right along, hey coach.
Put me in the figure four like Ric Flair.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I know you be hollering, oh, like the dudes in WWE, WF, whatever it is. Hey, kid, I mean, coach, what you got, man? Moment you look back happily with your daughter. Your
Uh, I'm gonna bring up two things, if
good.
that's all right.
I
Okay.
love that. Love that.
So the first one is a memory I share with my son too. So when they were in elementary school one time, they were having this like this assembly or something after school, right? But I was at work, so I left work early to come to the assembly. So when I walked in the door, they were already having the assembly.
Right.
And somebody, the lady was up there talking or whatever, and I opened the door and I was walking in by myself, and you just hear the kids say, "Dad!" And they jump up and they start running, and they're all happy to see me. Like the whole auditorium stopped, and the lady like they started clapping. I guess I don't understand why, but it was just it was a moment when you as dads sometimes you don't get thank yous and you don't get I love yous and hugs and stuff all the time like you should, like you probably should, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't really understand some of the things that you do as a father. But that was very poignant to me because not only did I see it, but everyone else around me saw that, I was about my kids. Other thing I want to bring up that makes me proud that sort of catches me off guard about my daughter is she will often put things on TikTok or Facebook about how like I'm her best friend.
Mm. That's beautiful.
right? About how I'm always there for her no matter what, stuff like that. You know, she'll send it to me and I'll be at work. I'll be like, I gotta go to the bathroom right quick. I need to step out back for a minute. But those things like that, because you know, you're not always gonna have the best conversations with your kids. You're not, there's gonna be times when y'all are gonna bump heads because you're trying to instill certain things in them and teach them how to be a good person. So when that falls on you, when you have to be the fun police, right? Because that's really, as a parent, that's really what you are, as a fun police. You stop your kids from doing stuff they want to do, but at the same time, they don't understand that all you want to do is help them do what they want to do, right? So when you get those little moments where you see that what you're doing is really working, because you never really know, right? There's no handbook to being a parent. There's no way to know that you're doing the right things until they do something to show you that what you've been trying to instill in them or show them is actually working.
Yeah. Well put, my brother. Well put. I love that. My uh, one of the moments, and I have so many, but I'm only going to share one. It was my uncle had passed away, and so it's kind of a day off for me, and my brothers were hanging out. My nephews and my kids were all hanging out, and we were at MacArthur Mall. They had like a little play area in a little joint. So we're like kind of eating lunch, kind of more talking than anything else. The kids are in the play area, and they had this little dude. This dude had on a full like kung fu outfit, right? He got the gi on, he got his little belt on, and he's going
Mm.
around. He is jacking kids up. He's hiya. He's like, yeah, yeah, what? I mean, he went to the Chuck Norris School of jacking people up.
Oh
And
man.
so he's going stupid on kids. So I'm watching, and I said, you know, I just will see what's gonna happen when he goes up to like, because I think my nephews and my son were all about the same age. They're about about 3 or whatever. And this dude, I mean,
Mhm.
he has no respect for age. No, he just jacking kids up, just
Yeah.
yeah. and, and no, and nobody's intervening. Nobody's intervening. So he goes over, and I think he's about to karate chop all three, my nephews, my son, all of them, and my daughter goes down there and she like stands away. She just kind of like gave him the like New Edition before they start the dance move. They keep the hand out like this. Ah! She's like, no, brother. He look, hey, look, that was enough to keep him confused and bewildered. He was like, well, I don't know about this. I'm not gonna
Maybe
take
this ain't
on.
the group I need to mess with,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, I'm gonna leave this African princess alone and go ahead and f up all these other kids in the play area. So I was like, okay, baby girl. She said she had to lay them hands on him, but she gave him the high five. She's like, no, sir, it's not today, brother.
Talk to the hand, my friend. Talk to the
Not
hand.
today.
Mm.
That's it. Okay, I'm proud of you, girl. You kept them from jacking the kids up. So that's one of the moments I look back on. I'm like, oh, she's got strength of character. She got that awareness to stand her ground for the little kids. So I appreciate that. All right, moving on. I want you to share an accomplishment um, that your daughter's had that you're proud of. Something more recent that she's done that you look back and be like, yeah, man, she did her thing. Um, I think I'll go first on this one just because my daughter's just a little bit older than you guys as kids already. But like I said, I think I'm really proud of her just because she's doing her thing in her career path. She's a successful business person. Um, she's running her own group, and I think she's the youngest person in that area. Doing her thing. Just bought a crib, like I said, within the last year. So I'm really proud of her, and she's doing her thing. And I can't take credit for all of it, but I think, yeah, I look back and I'm saying she's really doing well for herself, and I'm really proud of her. All right, we're gonna move on. Coach, we're gonna go to you next. What you got, man? What is baby girl doing? And she's like, you know what? She's making her way.
Oh well, this is sort of. I'm just gonna throw it all together. So um, she has gotten herself into the language academy in high school. Right, she goes to Tallwood, even though she would be going there because that's the area we live in. She's in the language academy. When as soon as my daughter found out she was old enough to get a job, she went out and got a job, and she's had a job ever since. She understands that she has to take care of certain things. Now, she is still immature in some areas, but in some areas, she's very mature. And I just, it just amazes me because I'm trying to figure out how I raise this person that's doing some of the things that she's doing. Like, she's applying to go to colleges.
Hmm.
She's handling her business as opposed to me having to be on her about doing it. Right? My son is a totally different thing. Love him to death. Love him to death. But it's this different thing. Yeah, it's just seeing her be her is something that she does every day that amazes me because she hasn't been dealt the best cards when it comes to certain things in her life. Other things she has. I'm not gonna go into that at all. But anybody that knows me knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
And that's where we're gonna leave it right there. Yeah, I'm just proud of her being her every day, man. It's that's something that every day she shows me something else. Like she wants a different job, she goes and gets a different job. She wants better for herself, she goes and gets better for herself. So that's important to me to see her do.
that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Kev, you lasted the bet. What you got, man?
Um, I guess one of the things that I'm proud of for her accomplishments is, as you all know, she's involved in track now. And when she first started out with track, I mean, she
Hmm.
did amazing. Her first year, she won all her races for the sprints for the 100 and 200, first place, all of them. Now, the next year, didn't do as well, but she still qualified for whatever the city or regional type thing finals were for that, um, and was finishing first or second most of the time. But even when tracks started getting more difficult and you know wider variety of and higher competition athletes, even if she's not finishing as high as she used to, she doesn't let it discourage her. She keeps trying. She's happy to get involved and help and support her teammates and cheer them on and stuff like that. And then other things that aren't really as much competition based that I'm proud of her accomplishments. Like she recently got her driver's license. So when I first started taking her around within the past year to test out driving, really within the past half of the year, I would take her out to like parking lots and stuff, and she'd be nervous at first, but she wanted to try it. And the very first time I took her around, it's obviously learning curves. Sometimes she'd go over little curbs and stuff like that. And I'd be like, hey, all right, slow down for some of this. And the more she would practice, the more she would get comfortable with it. And then she finally was able to take the driver's ed thing, and she was able to pass that and do that without much fear and driving on open roads. And then one time when I was driving her for practice myself, like we went to a high school, and I was like, all right, well, keep going around through this back way. And I didn't really know where it was going to go. I figured we were still in like the school area. We ended up being on a real street while she was driving. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to cut over pretty soon. I was like, for right now, there's no cars around. So if you feel uncomfortable, just pull over to the side and I'll take it over. But I mean, she was able to drive on a real street, without that, without me having to take over. And I mean, it takes a lot
Okay,
of courage for somebody when they're just first starting to do stuff. So she don't really have fear, and she's willing to try things and not let potential failures, hold her back.
that's good. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. I will say one of the first times that my child decided that they were going to drive, I didn't know that she hadn't been practicing that long, but just a crazy dad thing. So she took off in the whip, and I remember being kind of nervous because my child don't like to touch the brakes at all. I'm like, bruh,
Oh,
you gotta touch the brakes every now and then.
I'm gonna
But
need you to pump something, please.
yeah, yeah,
Pump
yeah. I'm
something.
like, I'm like, yeah, you gotta, yeah, just massage it with your toe a little bit when we get to
I'm gonna
these
say because
red
everything you just said
these
that
stop
made me
signs.
real
So,
nervous.
hey,
That just
look, hey,
made me
look.
real nervous,
Hey,
bro.
oh man.
What happened?
All right. As a girl dad, what practices have you used to build self-esteem and confidence? That's a big thing in today's world because we need to let our children feel supported, um, have a good self worth. All those kinds of things are super important in today's world because if you don't give them that, they can't stand up to the many pressures and negatives that come with being a child in today's world. So I'll go first on this one. One of the things that I um, would do with Sanaya would be to constantly try to tell her how beautiful I thought she was, how um, smart I thought she was, to instill those things, a positive self image in her mind. And I know that's not something that, it's not the answer to all the questions, but I think it has to start somewhere. And if your child feels valued from you, it makes a lot of difference when they're facing whatever out in the real world. So that's some of the stuff I used to do. I tried to have conversations to let her know how smart and progressed she was and things like that. So those are some of the things that I would do to kind of push back against all the things, all the negatives out there in the world. Coach, what you got? What are some of the things that you would do to combat some of those negatives?
I
How
mean,
would you?
I've always told my daughter, and I mean, maybe this might be her. I always tell her that she's a treasure, right? And that nobody deserves your treasure. They have to earn it. You can't just give somebody a treasure, right? So I try to do that. I try to help her understand. She I'll tell y'all this story. So when she first started going to high school, there was a group of kids that used to tell her that she was Hispanic all the time. That everybody thought that she was Hispanic, that she wasn't black, right? Because my daughter, she's mixed, she's Italian and African American, Italian and black. So she would come home like, Dad, I'm tired of people telling me I'm not black and I'm not this and I'm not, and I'm like, I say, well, you don't have to explain that to anyone. You know who you are, and you just have to be strong within yourself. You can't. People are always going to have something to say, always. No matter if it's somebody that's your friend or somebody that's not your friend, they're always going to have something to say. You have to be secure in yourself,
Yeah,
and that's a lesson that you don't really learn until you're older. If you think about it, when we were at that age, were you secure in yourself? Yes, but not really. When you go away maybe to college and when you're by yourself, that's when you may become a little bit more secure in yourself and things you do. So I just try to, what I really try to do is tell her that you don't have to worry about what everybody else says or thinks. That's something that, especially when you're a kid coming up and you're in this little social circle, like, school is all you really know, right? And you want everybody to see you some kind of way, but that stuff really doesn't matter if you're just who you are. That's what I try to teach my kids. Just
okay.
be yourself and don't let the outside noise affect you because it will, but you got to sort of try to find a way, comfortable median, I guess, in between the two.
Right, right. Okay, Kev, same question. How are you building that self esteem and confidence?
All right, well, this is something I'm kind of a work in progress, right? I might not be the best example for this, but for an example, I had talked about my daughter and running track, and as competition gets harder, you know, you're not always going to be able to finish first. I mean, there's only one person finishing first place, and it might be like 10 people running the event, and it might be like 3 to 5,
Hmm.
7 different heats, right? So I'll always mention things just like you were, Griff, or, oh, you look really nice today, looking good, stuff like that. But things for maybe if she's not finishing as high for a track as she wants to, I'll say, that's okay. You still did good. You finished better than a lot of other people. Um, and, be like, look at your time. You improved on your time this time than what you ran last time, right? It may have been your personal best. Maybe it wasn't enough to finish first place, but you're still doing good. You're still improving, things like that. So just trying to help her think of a more positive way to view things because, you can't always finish number one. Just keep trying to improve for yourself, and eventually you'll be in a better place. But just giving her reminders that, hey, you're doing the right thing, you're looking nice today. I appreciate you
Yeah.
uh, looking out for other people, stuff like that. Just ways to kind of build her confidence, let her know that I'm appreciative of her.
Okay. Well, Kev, I only got one thing to say to you. If you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
You silly man.
All right. What traps from the outside world are you concerned about, and how do you combat them? What traps are you concerned about? And I'll go first again on this one. So there's especially when she was younger, there were certain things that were I was concerned about. She went to a school that did not have a whole lot of diversity, so I was worried about her getting a fair shake at things. And I did have some talks with the teachers and administrators to let them know that you're there for supporting them and supporting her and making sure that things are progressing. I think that made a big deal of difference. But as she got older, particularly high school age, they had a lot of kids who were had drug problems. I mean, significant drug problems that were rampant in that high school. And I was very concerned about that. I was also concerned about um, the relationship environment as well, um, because teenage pregnancy is a thing,
Rampant.
and you can't be naive as a parent. I think a lot of times you can play dumb, but when those things arise, you're gonna need to be able to address it. So I think with the drug thing, like I said, I think the biggest thing is imparting that self worth that you don't want to go down this path because it does lead to a lot of heartbreak and tragedy. I think that's number one. Number two, you want to establish I think establishing a good culture at home is just like in sports or at work or whatever else. If you got a good culture where you can go and talk to somebody, and I'm not
Hmm.
going to say it was always me because I believe for Sanaya, she would talk more to her mother about some of the sensitive issues, unless she felt like mom couldn't, or it just needed a different touch, if you will, because there were times where she was like, "Dad, I need this," and I appreciate that. Now, a lot of times, Dad gets only relegated to certain roles,
Yeah. Hmm.
but I do think having that outlet, feeling comfortable with that parent group is huge, and that's how you've got to combat um, a lot of the things that are going on in the world. And my last piece of how we as a family would combat. I think the most essential thing you can do um, with your child is to, at the end of the day, if you have that time, to have dinner with them, be able to look at them, be able to talk about, hey, how was your day? And things come up during that conversation, and you get to learn about other things, people who are involved. You can learn the warning signs and all those kind of things. People who might be not be around, not to their advantage. And I think if you do that, it's a big way of like combating a lot of the stuff that goes on in the world. Just sitting down, having a meal. How was your day? What happened today? How can I help? All those things make all the difference in the world, and that's how I think is one of my weapons in combating things from the outside world. All right, Coach, what you got, man?
Uh, I I think what you just said is that's really what I do is having open communication with your child. You know, is very important so that you do know what's going on with them to try to help them combat the things that are causing them issues. Um, I just try to also not exactly, you know, so my thing might be a little different since I'm a single parent, right? My daughter's really only getting it from one
Yeah.
side,
Hmm.
right? So I tend to try to, I guess, be more realistic with her about certain
Yeah,
things,
absolutely.
which might not always be the best route. Sometimes when she's having issues with stuff, certain things, especially the he said she said stuff, right? Which you know that all kids are gonna go through that. But I am sort of the like just don't worry about it. If you know it's not true, if there's no truth to it, if what somebody's saying isn't really real, then why are you worried about it? If it's something that's true, then I can see it affecting you. But if it's not true, there's no reason to worry about it.
Yeah.
Um, Try to get her to cancel out the outside noise because, like I say all the time, people are always going to have something to say. Always. You could go out and do everything right. Somebody's gonna find something wrong with it.
Hmm.
Right? So just you can't get caught up in what everybody else says. The word says it itself. Self-esteem. Nobody else is gonna build up your self-esteem. So you need to be able to deal with that and have self-esteem. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
any other way to put it. That's it.
Yeah.
So you know, those are the conversations I have with my daughter is try to help her understand that you can't be worried about what everybody else says. You got to take care of your own business, and self-esteem is really esteem of yourself. Don't look for somebody else to build that for you. You have to be that yourself.
Mm, okay. All right, Kevzino, what you got, man? How do you combat the traps that are or what? First of all, what kind of traps are you concerned about personally? And how do you combat them?
All right. So a lot of times we talk about music, all right, just as being friends and stuff, and the influence that music has on our life. And one of the things that I feel can be a trap is, celebrities and music and how things are portrayed to people of young
Oh
ages,
man,
right? Like, just as an example,
good stuff.
gangster rap was really big when we were young, and that would influence the ways that a lot of people like really would approach life, right? And they wouldn't really think of it from the aspect of these rappers are using this as entertainment as a way to make money. They're not really all out here now. Some of them are, right? But they're not really out here shooting
Yeah.
everybody, doing the stuff that they're saying with dealing drugs and all of this other stuff. But in terms of being a girl dad, and my daughter like listens to music a lot now, um, just like I did growing up. But some of the artists nowadays, especially female artists, are really promoting being sexually promiscuous, right? And that's like a
Hmm.
big,
You can say hookerdom. You can say they're promoting hookerdom. That's what it is.
yeah. I mean, that's like all you hear from pretty much now. And, my daughter, she just turned 16. And, she's in high school. So, there's guys that like her and, you know, guys that she likes. Um, so I kind of worry about some of this stuff. And my wife and I had talks about some of this stuff recently in terms of, I might not have the best or an ideal level of communication with my kids to be able to get information from them. I may try, right? I may try to have conversations, but there's just some stuff that maybe they won't tell me, right? And maybe
Absolutely.
I tell my wife certain stuff. Um, I try to force conversations sometimes. So now I normally have to pick my daughter up from school from the bus stop each day due to the way they got the school bus system in Charlotte. So normally she's
Mhm.
just on her headphones all the time at the bus stop until she's waiting for me. And when I pick her up, she'll still have them in a lot of times, but I'll try to get her to take them off while we're in the car, just so we can at least have a little bit of a conversation during that time. Find out, how was school today, basic stuff. See if, the more I try
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
have a conversation with her, maybe she's more comfortable with opening up to me about other things, right? Um, just to try to improve the
Okay.
relationship, improve
Hey,
levels
Kev,
of
look,
communication.
I hate to interrupt, but let's circle back, Kev. Now you said the music and all of those kinds of things are a heavy influence. What do you do to negate that influence? Because we all know, just like when we were kids, you listen to what you want to listen to, especially when your mom or your dad wasn't around. When you do leave the house for a significant time of day, you are exposed to a whole bunch of different. How do you combat those things? Um, like you said, the music influence and all those kinds of things. What do you do with that specifically?
Well, I mean, I'm not stopping her from listening to certain music because that's just not realistic. She's gonna listen to it elsewhere anyhow. Um, but try to have conversations with her. Try to open up about relationship and how she feels about opposite sex and stuff like that. Just so she kind of knows certain things and how to approach relationships. But I don't think you can really stop someone from listening to the type of music that they want to listen to. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
I thought more. I was thinking more along the lines of, do you introduce something else, an alternative, if you will?
well, she definitely knows the type of music that I listen to, and she'll like some of that, right? But you know, kids are gonna like who they like. You can introduce them to other types of
I mean,
Yeah,
music.
yeah, my daughter listens to the Hot Ratchet Express because that's what everybody listens to, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't get away from it. You go to a football game, and I mean a high school football game. Now, while they might not play the song, they'll definitely play the beat.
you're right.
And they play the beat, all the kids know what the
Oh
song
yeah,
is.
for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? So for for these schools to even be doing that, it should be overboard because you know what the beat is from.
Yeah,
There ain't nobody sitting there screaming no school name when that beat come on. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I it's tough. It's hard to get them away from the music because if it's popular, it's gonna be popular.
Yeah,
right.
and some of it's
Yeah,
more
I feel you.
acceptable
I feel you.
in my
Okay.
mind, at least, than others. Like she'll like people like Bryson Tiller, right, and
Yeah,
other rappers that aren't as crazy with some of their lyrics. But if there's a popular song and they're talking about, like I said,
yeah,
cocaine, saying ratchet stuff, you just gotta
yeah. I mean,
be able
look,
to accept it and
I'm
be like,
not look. I'm not knocking this young lady, Sexy Red, but some of her content, as somebody that has a daughter, I don't think that that's But that is the Instagram TikTok era. That's the era that
yeah,
we live in. You
Glorilla,
have
Cardi
to as a
B,
parent,
all of them.
yeah,
Let
you
me
have to as a
tell you,
parent make sure that they're not raising your child.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's really that simple. I'm not knocking your music. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to say what you want to say in your music. Not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a parent, I have to realize that it is not that person's job to raise my child. If my child is listening to your music and think that that's the way you're supposed to be living, then that's because you're not doing your job as a parent, right?
I'm with you.
It's
I'm with
true.
you. Yeah, it's hard
So
to
Kev, I mean,
separate.
I feel you on it. You can't stop them from doing it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because if you try to stop them from doing it, what's gonna happen is they
Now
might do it when they're in
they
your
look.
house, but the second that they leave your door, they're gonna be buckish wild. And look it, I guarantee you, all three of us have met that girl that was sheltered. Oh, Griff, don't
Mm-mm-mm.
even try it, Griff.
No, no, no.
Griff.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing
Okay,
with
I'm
you.
about to
Oh,
say,
I'll say
I'll
who
say,
who
yeah,
has who doesn't know about that. I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
you don't want to be
That
the
dad. You don't
dad,
want to
that
be the,
dad,
the
right?
dad
That,
of
you
that.
don't
That's right.
right. You
That's
don't want to
right.
be that child. That I mean,
That
you
you
know,
should look. You show up and everybody at the party looking at you like, hmm,
yeah, yeah.
hmm.
You don't
Very
even
nice to
know.
meet you.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
I mean, and there were some very nice young ladies that I dealt with in the past, and their dads were oblivious to uh
The
the
level, the
yeah.
level of the dumb. Let's just
But
say the level of the dumb.
but I think that that's kind of like I said, maybe that was their coping mechanism. Like if I bury my head in the sand, it ain't happening. I don't see it.
Oh yeah.
What is
Oh, I love those. Those are those were our favorite ones back in the day.
that, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. I mean,
yeah.
you
Hey,
ain't
I'm
paying
just gonna go
attention.
upstairs and you guys stay down here for 6, 7 hours by yourself. I'm gonna order you some pizza. Order you some pizza. Well, thank you, sir.
Good times, good times for me,
Mhm. Yes,
not for
yes,
my child.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. You
Oh
come over to
Lord.
my house 5, 6 hours, I'm gonna be sitting down next to you with my arm around both of you.
Exactly. Pass the popcorn. Hey, pass the popcorn.
That's it. You want some
All
caramel
right.
drizzle on this? What you?
Well, hey, coach, what we watching?
Yeah, that's it.
What
That's
we
it.
watching?
If y'all don't have none, I got a couple series we can catch up on or something. Let me put you on to something right quick.
Play something you know they won't like. You know, I'm gonna go ahead home. Okay, you do that. All right,
Yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
all right. What relationship advice do you give her? Do you discuss the game and how boys are? Now we all know that dudes will say just about anything to what'd you say,
That's
Coach?
correct.
Get the treasure, get the treasure.
That's
So
it. That's it.
some dudes will say just I don't think any of us were any of those kind of dudes. Like there are levels to it. Um, you got to have respect for the game, but I think like we all know, some dudes will just do anything.
Oh
have
yeah.
that conversation with your child about um, how boys are and what kind of things to expect and how to even prepare for that? Do y'all have those conversations?
100%.
Good. That's good. I'm glad.
100%. You know, my daughter has dealt with, she's talked to some boy. I don't stop her from dating. I don't
Mm,
stop her from talking to boys or whatever. I talk to her about talking to boys, and I talk to her exactly what you're talking about, Griff. That a guy will tell you anything. I told my daughter that she should find somebody that finds pleasure in making her smile. Now, this might sound crazy, but if all a dude wants from you is to see you smile, and he's going to do anything he can to get you to smile. You have these women that say, "Oh, well, for a man to date me, he needs to do this and he needs to do that and he needs to do this and he needs to do that." Well, if your attitude was right, he'd probably just do it for you.
right.
Is the problem that most men have is when a chick comes to them and tells them, "You have to do this for me. You want to be with me, you got to do this." Well, you know what? Little such and such down the street, she don't got that same rules. So you go on about your business, and I'm gonna deal with them. So no, I definitely put my daughter on the game. I make sure that she knows because she's not gonna be walking. I'm not raising no dummy.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, you have to that's part of your job because she's really gonna end up with somebody that's sort of like you in the end of it all anyway. If you think about it, because you are her. My dad used to talk to me about this all the time about being a model. Your model for something, just like your dad was the model for you growing up as to be who you are,
Yeah,
right? Uh, Kev, your mom was a single mom, so she was your model to how you deal with certain things and how you do stuff, right? As a matter of fact, all of our parents. in our friend group were our model. I think we've all taken something away from everybody's parents in our friend group, whether we know it or not.
Yeah,
So you one of the things you have to do is be the example, even if it's for your daughter to be the example of what a man should and should not do and be to her. When my daughter was younger, I used to take her out, and we used to Valentine's Day. She was always my Valentine's Day. I used to take her out,
I love that. I love that.
right, so that she had an idea of what someone should do for you. Now, I'm not saying that to be with someone you have to spend all this money and do all these things, but you do have to be considerate of them, and you have to take time to show them that they're worth something. And if somebody can't show you that and that they value you, then they're not somebody you need to deal with. And I definitely tell my daughter that all the time. They
Yeah,
did what? They told you they were call. Hey, somebody tells you they gonna call you back and they don't call you back. That doesn't mean you don't have to deal with them, but that just means you know who they are, at least who you are to them,
yeah,
right? Because it doesn't matter what it is. If I tell you I'm gonna get back in contact with you, I'm gonna get back in contact with you. If you somebody that means something to me. If you somebody I'm just brushing off, hey, I'm gonna call you back. So yeah, I put my daughter on the game as much as I can. I know they say the game is not to be told, but I'm gonna tell my daughter, and if you got a problem with it, come holler at you.
hey, you gotta. We have to be proactive in protecting all of our family members, but in particular, our daughters and um, the world's out to get to take advantage of whatever it can take advantage of, and I'm a full
Yeah.
believer in exposing them and preparing them for what's to come. Kev, what you got, man? Do you talk about relationship advice? Do you give advice and do you
Yeah.
expose her to
So
the
I
game?
guess
What you got?
relationship advice number one: if you see R. Kelly or you hear some type of magic flute, run immediately. Okay.
It's the Pied Piper.
Now that being
I'm
said,
weak.
so as I
The
said,
Kelly
I'm
Initiative. Yeah.
kind of a work in progress for some of this stuff because it's a little difficult to get some information from my daughter. But one thing that I do try to do is, let's say, for an example, it's my wife's birthday or Mother's Day or our anniversary or something like that coming up. I'll have my kids come with me and I'll start asking them, specifically my daughter, right? I'm like, hey, what do you think something nice is that I can do to show your mom that I love her and appreciate her and stuff like that, just so she can see that somebody who's in a relationship with someone should be thinking of these types of things, right? For someone that they love and care about. So that hopefully
Mm.
she will say, this is how I should be treated also, right? Because sometimes it's hard for me to get that information from her, all right? So I'll get like feedback from them to see what they think nice things are and things that I can do and just kind of
Okay.
see.
So you're doing the modeling like Cody was talking about.
Yeah,
You
kind of.
might be doing a little bit differently, but you're doing the mod. So Kev, you said it might be difficult to get the information. So I think our situation is a little bit different from Cody's because he's the sole person in the house that they can go to talk to. I think with you
Mhm.
and me, and I don't think this is a knock on us, but you have we have you so Tammy and Ayana both are there, so they feel like they're more comfortable talking to them.
Yeah.
Just like if you were talking to something and you like, I want to talk to my dad about this, as opposed to, and I don't think that's a slight. It's just what's available to you and
Mhm.
what you feel most comfortable with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Kev,
Well,
you
I mean,
good?
you guys have an active partner
Yeah,
that's present to be there. It's just a difference. It doesn't mean my situation is any better than your situation. It's just a difference.
it's different. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
different.
that's all.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I do like the modeling. I think that was one of the biggest things I'll take away from um, what we talked about. And like you said, I do think that um, our daughters are gonna choose. someone somewhat like ourselves, which is good. I mean, I think in the long run,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I think my daughter's only dated two guys. Um, I mean, I don't know. They're both nice, respectful young men. There was nothing
Mhm.
crazy or anything out of the ordinary. Um, is anybody ever going to be good enough until they get, married? Not probably
No.
not. I'm not going to see them
Mm-mm.
as somebody. I'm
Mm-mm.
like,
Mm-mm. No,
I'm
because
not.
nobody's ever going to be good enough. No, I
Yeah,
mean that's just a fact. That you're always going to be looking at. You're always going to be on alert when it comes
yeah,
to your daughter. Always going to be on alert when it comes to your daughter because that's your daughter. Ain't nobody else responsible for her the way you're going to be responsible for her.
right. Yeah.
So if I got to come put some hands on you, I might be 87. But I'm going to put on my gi like the dude from the last Don't Breath and start bullying them, kid.
Hey, nobody bother me. You remember that commercial?
Yeah, nobody bothers me.
um,
Yeah, that was the joint, shit.
all right. What advice would you give to other girl dads out there? What would you say? We talked extensively about the modeling. Is there anything else that you would add to that? To be like, hey, um, this is something I wish I knew, or this is something I think that most dads should know. I know it's a hard question. Volunteers?
Any advice for other girl dads? Hmm.
Kev, you got anything?
I got something. I
My
got
bad,
something.
my
I
bad, my
got
bad.
something.
Okay, all right,
I,
all right.
I got something now. Uh, this goes back to what we were talking about before,
Okay.
and I don't know how many people are going to agree with this, but do not shelter your daughter. Do not, let me say this again. Do not shelter your daughter. Now, I'm not saying let your daughter run out and be buck wild. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But don't make your daughter, I know some people that have, and let's just use this example, that might have a son and a daughter, and they might both be in high school, and the son's out running the street until midnight, and the daughter got to be in the house at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you can't do that. You need to let her live her life because she has to experience life. The worst thing in the world, to be honest with you, probably one of the worst things in the world is a naive woman. Because somebody, and what I mean by that is that there is a guy that is going to take advantage of this woman because you're not properly preparing your daughter for the real world. You want to keep her in a box and keep her sheltered, but the world isn't a box.
Mm-mm. So,
You need to let your daughter you got to let your daughter live a life. You got to let her interact with people so that she knows who to deal with, who not to deal with, so she can have intuition, so she can feel it in her gut when something just ain't right with somebody. Because you just keep her in the house, the only thing she gonna know is, I don't really know what's going on. I want to find out what it's like out there.
yeah. So, Coach, let me
And
ask you
yeah,
this: How do you,
okay.
how do you expose her safely? How do you let her explore, but in a kind of protected environment, if you will? Like, yeah, yeah, you're letting them
Well,
explore, but but you still got you
I
still
mean,
got them safety parameters up.
part of that is you have to be active in your child's life. You need to know her friends.
Hmm.
You need to know her friends' parents, the people that she's dealing with on a regular basis. Like, I know who my daughter's friends are, right? I
That's
know
good.
which ones of my daughter's friends that if they go to their house or they're doing a function with their family or something, that their parents are going to look out for my daughter.
Yeah,
And you don't get to go somewhere where you got to be somewhere for a extended amount of time and somebody's going to see my face. I don't care how old you are. I'm
yeah,
going to walk into the party with you, drop y'all. Friends can joke you if they want to joke you, right? Because you have to, while people might make fun of you for that, I guarantee you everybody know that if something happened, Malia dad going to show up,
that's right.
right? You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? So those are the things that you have to do, man. You have to do that stuff. You have to boots on the ground, your hands in the dirt. You got to be involved. You want your child to be safe. You need to make sure they safe. You need to make sure that they're being taught the right things. You need to make sure that because that's on you. It's not on them. It's on you. It's not on them.
I love that. I love that you're making your presence felt when your children are going somewhere and letting. I think that's a big deterrent for people who want to do wrong. If you just
Yeah.
make it known that you're gonna be there, that you gonna show up, that they gonna have to see you again. I think that's huge. So big ups to you, Coach, for um dropping them gems for
I
dads out
mean,
there who might
I just
be.
want to ask y'all a question, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. Have y'all ever had one of your child's friends get dropped off at your house, and the parents just pull up, let them out the car, and drive off? Don't even wait to see them come in the house.
Yep.
I have seen that on multiple occasions. You don't even know where. You don't even know for sure that this is my house.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that's the people. Those are the things that you do that will your child will come up missing.
yeah.
You know,
I've seen
you,
that.
you got that just like you said, Griff. You know, if my kid comes somewhere, hey, you gonna see me again.
Yep.
And I know exactly where I dropped. I know this is where I left her. This is who I left her with. She come up missing. I'm asking you some questions.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna ask you nicely, and then I'm probably gonna ask you the police, and then we're gonna go the old route. And when we go
Yeah.
the old route, it's not gonna be pretty.
I love it. I love it. I love the follow through. Kev, what you got, man? What advice would you give? What kind of things would you, or maybe things you wish you knew earlier? What you got?
Uh, in terms of advice I'd give to other dads, don't bring your sons around here looking to get frisky, or it's gonna be trouble. Trouble.
Mm-mm.
But
Trouble, trouble.
um,
Him downstairs.
yeah. So you got to kind of
Oh
lead by example.
man.
And Coat was given really good um, examples of that. So talking about showing up while you're dropping people off, right? So I don't want to give the exact example for one of these things, but yes, I recently had to drop my daughter off for a birthday party at some place I had never heard of before. I walked her in there, and I got to be careful with how I word this, but we were like the only people in there, and it was for someone else's birthday. And my daughter, she would just be texting her friend. They were like, "Yeah, we're running late and everything." Ultimately, when the other kids get there, I'm like the only parent that had shown up. But you
Mhm.
know, I left after I dropped her off. I was like, "Hey, call me. Something
You ain't
happened,
ready.
and we'll be here to pick you up and all of that stuff." But some people don't do that, and I guess if you got a good enough relationship with your kid, maybe that's okay. But lead by example. If you're saying, "Hey, we're going to be somewhere at a certain time," be there at that time. Don't be super late, all of that stuff. Lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
with it. I'm
All
with it.
right. Well, I think the advice I would give. I think we've all said it in a lot of different ways, but um, the benefit you have of having that child with you, it can be son, daughter, whoever, spending that time with them and constructive time, whether it be um, s- uh, them learning music or art or sports or whatever creative ventures or just sitting around building a puzzle or putting a puzzle together or whatever, gardening, I don't, whatever it is. I think spending time with your kids, getting to learn who they are. I think Coach, you said something about knowing their friend group is such a big plus because they're gonna tell you things and things are gonna come up because they're in their natural when they feel like they're in their natural environment as a
Mm-hmm.
group of kids talking. There's stuff that's gonna come out that your child will probably never say to you. But
Mm-hmm.
when they joking around, they be like, "Oh, you remember blah 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 blah." Be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, and not. I'm not saying it's necessarily anything negative, but you have insight into what's really
yeah,
going on with these kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I think I did not take advantage of. enough when my kids were young. I did get involved with coaching them. I always did their school events and all that kind of things. So I was present all the time. So all the people they interacted knew who I was, but I did not get involved with their friend groups as much as I would have liked to. So Coach, big ups to you. Kev, big ups to you for doing those kinds of things. But the more insight you can have into what they're going through, the
Mhm.
more insight you can have into who they're dealing with, I think it helps you be more prepared as a parent to protect them from whatever pitfalls and obstacles might be coming their way. So I think those are the keys. I mean, learning about who your child is, who they're developing into, what influences you can negate, and things you can introduce to them that are positive to supplement some of the good stuff that you got going on in the home. So, good stuff, fellas. I really appreciate the advice, and that's why you two fellas have two of the most beautiful daughters I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that. I know I'm biased. I mean, okay, whatever, but I do think that too of the most fantastic young people that I know. So, with that said, boy, oh boy, we wrapped up two in a day. I love it. Wood's finest, my boy Kev Zeno. He made it. He pushed through a little sickness today. I'm proud of him. He a little stoic today, but still crazy as ever. Coat pushing through, pushing through, pushing through, dropping them gems and knowledge. I love it. Me, I'm just the special R&B day, so I had the sunglasses on. So I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Uh, but another couple of good episodes. I appreciate you, fellas.
All
Please
right.
like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your mama,
There it is.
somebody. Woods
Anybody.
finest. Anybody. We'll take midgets. We'll take.
That's it.
Can
Hey,
you say
you see
that?
somebody on the side of the road with that fentanyl lean, just take their phone and put the podcast on. That's
That's
all I'm
it.
saying.
That's it. It'll save your life. This podcast can save your life. Just listen. All right.
There it is.
Check us out on the website. We appreciate your viewership. We don't take that for granted. We love y'all. We'll see you
There it
guys
is.
again on the next episode of the Woods Finest
It was
Podcast.
finest. Peace.